It's a chopped cheese, but not as you know it. We bring beef, beans, cheese, and fresh guac together in a killer sandwich that's perfect for a weeknight dinner. My guest today in the Dinner DeeAs kitchen is James Shields, back with us from his food truck, Johnny Nevada's Tamales, named for his legendary dad who smuggled tamales from Texas to Tampa, as James says on his website, rolling through Tampa International like a duct tape slinging Hank Williams Jr. meets Charles Bronson hybrid, towing igloo coolers packed with steaming hot tamales. Today's recipe is one of the few dishes he made for you when you were younger and christened them Burp Burgers.
Yeah, so he had one recipe for it, and it started off with a lot of jalapeno, a little bit of onion, and a package of ground beef that he would just cook the life out of. It could have been a great sandwich.
Okay.
So we're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to that, and we're gonna get to that all together because we've already started over here, and it looks like you've been sweating down some poblano peppers, some white onions.
Yep. So we're gonna start a little side dish, something that we love to eat, as a pinto beans dish.
Cool.
Yeah. So we start off with some aromatics. We're gonna get a little bit of color on them, so a moderately high heat. Color on this dish is good. We're gonna add to this. We've got some garlic going in. We want to add this in at the end so it doesn't burn. Then we're going. These are pinto beans that we've drained and rinsed. These are canned. So in that goes. Shake that around. We've got some chicken broth going in.
To grab the recipe for James' dad's Burp Burgers, head to our website, dinnerdeas.com. If you have your phone, you can find us fast by opening the camera app as if you're taking a photo, but zooming in on the TV to get the black and white box in the corner and frame. That way a link will appear on your phone because that's a QR code. So while this is gonna just kind of cook away and simmer, what do we have going on with this other pan?
So we're gonna start the chopped cheese portion of the sandwich. We're gonna start with a little olive oil, and we're gonna caramelize some onions. So this will be the base of this sandwich for this. Again, a high heat. We do want some color on this. We want a little caramelization to go with these onions.
I love it. And it's just like what you had just done here. It's just a nice little bit of a dice here.
Yep, just a little dice.
Fine dice. Okay, very cool. While we do our onions and keep an eye on these beans, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, we bring the beef, but unlike James's dad, we'll try not to cook the life out of it. Ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. We're making a chopped cheese torta today, a recipe from my guest James Shields. He runs food truck Johnny Nevada's. Before the break, we started on a side of pinto beans and peppers, cooking some diced onions and poblano peppers, adding a little garlic, canned pinto beans, which were drained and rinsed, then some chicken stock. While we brought that to a boil and let it simmer, we started on the chopped cheese by just simply sauteing some onion.
Yeah, we're just getting some caramelization going on these onions. Add a lot of depth of flavor. Some good jam-packed flavor for that chopped cheese. We're gonna go ahead and finish these beans. We're gonna just a little salt, pepper, good healthy couple pinches, pinch of pepper, probably about a half teaspoon of cumin. Give that a mix, and then the last step is gonna really brighten it up is a little fresh lime juice.
Okay.
A little bit of touch of acidity, but it just gives it a little pop.
It just brightens it a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we're gonna let that go for just a little bit longer. And now we're gonna go ahead and turn our attention to starting the beef for the chopped cheese.
All right, so we've got the onions. We've got just a little bit of ground beef.
Ground chug, 80-20.
80-20. Going right in?
Going right in.
Okay. Now, how fine do you like to have this?
You wanna break it up a little bit, but not into tiny pieces. So we still want some sizable pieces in there.
Now, your dad, when he was making this, was he there taking like temperatures on everything, being like, hey, let's make sure it's like perfectly?
No, there were probably a few Coors Light involved in between stirrings and maybe quite a few at that point. He would take this all the way down to, you know, pebble size.
Okay, so pebble size, and then that would just turn into like leather.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you could hear him hit the ground as he dropped them.
Now, do you like this as my texture here? Do you want me to go a little bit finer?
No, that looks good.
No,
It's
that's
going to
fine.
break up a little more as we go.
So I'm just going to kind of toss that a little bit with that onion there.
Very nice.
Make sure that fat starts to render a little bit more out in that pan here.
Absolutely.
To grab the recipe for this chopped cheese torta and the side of beans, head to our website, dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code on the screen right now, and it's going to take you right to us. All right.
So we're going to season this up a little bit.
Okay.
Going in with some pepper. A couple good healthy pinches of salt again.
Okay.
Again, we're seasoning on layers all throughout the recipe.
That's what I love about your style. It is just building on building on building on building.
You have to. Now give us a couple pinches of each, a little paprika.
Little
smoked
paprika. Okay.
And we'll do a little granulated garlic as well.
Is that enough for you?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. And then just granulated garlic here.
Yep, just a little touch. It's perfect.
Perfect. Now, like, we had some garlic going over here for our pinto beans that was diced and minced over there. But then we're going granulated garlic over here. Like,
I like
what's
more
going on?
of a seasoning packet in this. It kind of just really gets into the meat a little bit better.
Okay, cool.
I like the fresh in the beans.
Okay. And then what are we looking for here? How long should this cook for before it turns into those pebbles that your dad was known for?
Yeah, we want this just to be done. We don't want to overcook it. At this point, you know, we're getting close. Just when you get some of these bigger pieces are just well done, then we want to stop.
Then we want to stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't want to put this on hold and walk away for an hour or two.
Well, I mean, I do love a good cold, Coors Light every once in a while, too.
Right,
I mean, who doesn't love a little silver bullet over there?
That's right,
But
that's right.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today. While our beef browns, we have to take another quick break. When we come back, we make an equally quick guac, all by hand. Ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. A chopped cheese is on tap today, but with some southwestern flavor, thanks to my guest, James Shields. He runs food truck Johnny Nevada's, named for his dad, and this is a dish he's testing for his menu. Not to jump on the bodega bandwagon or anything, because this is something he used to have as a child, though. Maybe not quite as nicely made in its now incarnation over here, but it is worth a shot. Before the break, we added some seasoning to our side of pinto beans, adding salt, pepper, cumin, and some lime juice, leaving that to cook while we added ground beef to the onions that we've been cooking, plus a little more salt, pepper, paprika, and garlic powder, and that's been it so far.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to make a little bit of guacamole. It's going to go with that sandwich.
Okay.
This is something we have on the truck all the time.
All the time, it's a staple because, like, you're revered for your guac.
Correct. And I think the important part is it's just simple. It's these ingredients right here. It's
Okay.
nothing but real high quality ingredients. And we start by taking the avocado. We're going to slice right in. We're going to spin these around. Open them up. I always do actually a couple avocados because it's inevitable. There's going to be one that's no good in there.
Okay, so I think that's actually something someone at home should actually think about because,
Right.
like, you buy sometimes just because you need it for the exact count for it, but you don't take into account sometimes, hey, it might not be perfect, though it might be usable for what you need it to be,
Right.
and then you're scrambling.
If you need 4 by 6. So then with a spoon, this is easy way to get this out of here. And we just come out right like that.
So spoon underneath, pluck it right
underneath.
out, pop goes the weasel.
Easy to do.
So, as we kind of tell everyone, like, buy maybe a couple extras so that way you have that ready to go in the event one's bad and, and whatnot. There really is no way to tell until you really slice into it.
You can tell by the firmness. You can pop open the stem end, and as long as that is still bright, nice, right, and green, then you have a good chance you're going to have a good avocado. But you can feel around. There's no soft or squishy parts. It's all firm. Like here would be a part that might be a little questionable.
Suspect right there on that one. That was a little too much.
If these first 4 are good, we might not make it to that one.
Okay.
And then that's what you'll run into sometimes.
Is sometimes that. So, like, what happens there? Like, that's like the worst thing. Like, what are you doing with it? Are you doing anything with it? Can it go into a fridge? Can it stay? What?
No,
Yay, nay, work around?
We're gonna work around it.
Okay.
This is transportation and probably some temperature issues at some point along the way.
Along the way. Okay.
So we'll just do around it.
It's the same thing on that side. Just, you know, so.
And it's just a little oxidized. It's not going to hurt you if you do put it in there.
Yeah.
It just has a different, look to it. It's not as appealing.
Now, when you're out there on the truck, I mean, you're doing things on batch. I mean, is this what you're doing and thinking this is batch for you, or is this like, no, this is for the household?
Yeah, this is just for the house. We'll do a case of avocados at a time.
A case of avocados.
Case of avocados. So yeah, this would be just dinner for a few friends. Bag of chips. On the truck, we're doing an entire case, 48 of them. 48
at a time forth there, and you're saying like, yeah, this is the house, bag of chips, some friends over and whatnot. How long does it normally last for you guys?
Oh, this will be gone. This will be gone in a couple hours. Maybe not even. But if you're going to save it, I think it's important. One, you have enough acid in it that'll help from turning brown, and then you want to have it wrapped extremely tight, plastic all the way down.
Yeah.
And a trick that I just learned.
I just taught a trick on this one here, folks. So with the guacamole here, take a plastic wrap, get your guac as flat as you possibly can do it, smooth out the entire area. Put plastic wrap, smooth it with your hand on that side of it all. Put a little bit of water on top of it. That barrier, double layer, creates all of that oxygen out of there, and you can have a shelf life there with a guac upwards of a week.
We're going to start that tomorrow.
That's going to be the new thing right there. I'm telling you, it works.
So you can go in this step. If you have a potato masher, you could use that.
Okay.
You could use your hands if you were, if you wanted to. I think a fork, works just as good. You just want to get in there, start mashing these.
And like, do you take it to a level where it's just like it's completely smooth, a little bit of the texture? Because the fork can be one of those, you're using your hand and using force, but you're not always going to get it to be like as smooth as.
I prefer it to be more chunky than completely smooth. And see, here's where I would pivot and get the potato masher.
I got that for you, actually, my friend. Here we go.
Perfect. So we're just going to go in, break them up. Again, I don't like it to be completely mush.
It's like you like that texture. You like being able to have that bite of avocado.
Correct.
To make all this for yourself, grab James' recipes for everything we've been doing at our website, dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code in the corner. We also have his tamales recipe from his previous appearance, direct from the menu at his food truck, where he prides himself on authentic Mexican flavor. Now, what else is going to go into this now?
So now we're going to season it. We're going to start off with some jalapeno. Got to have some heat. That's one medium. If you like it hotter, leave the seeds in and do more.
Okay, I was just going to say, seeds or seeds out. So right now.
We always do seeds in.
Okay.
Fresh diced red onion. Some cilantro.
I have to have the cilantro.
Got to have it.
You need it.
Lime juice. Fresh lime juice. None of the squeeze. Nothing against that product, but for this application, you got to have fresh.
The real deal.
You got to have real.
Okay.
A more generous pinches of salt.
Okay.
That's the most important thing. I think for the home cooks, salt is important. You got to have the salt. When you think you've added too much, taste it. You probably want to add a little bit more.
You want to add a little bit more. Okay.
So that's really it. Those are the ingredients. We're just going to mix this until it's just combined. Again, we don't want it to be pureed. We don't want this to be a sauce. I mean, it is a chunky style guacamole.
And like, do you go straight, when you got your friends over, do you go straight in with the chips now, or do you like to let these kind of flavors meld a little bit and kind of come together?
Definitely, that's a good point. The longer this sits, and even at room temperature, the better it's going to taste.
Okay.
Yeah, everything cold, will not taste as good as when it's room temperature. So
okay.
Like this and with salsa, bring it up to room temperature before you serve it.
Just let that be for a little bit.
Yep.
So like, yay or nay for going in for a taste now?
Oh, yeah, I still eat it.
All right, here.
Yes, let's try it. See what we need for salt.
All right.
Maybe a little heavy on that side. I need to mix it a little bit more. So this is a good point. If you hit a little too much salt, when you have an extra avocado, dump it in there and it'll be fine.
Right.
Like we want to do with this.
But for me right there,
Perfect.
it was all that cilantro. Like, I got that fresh hit right there. All right. Now, we got that chopped cheese torta over here with a really very unique looking bread that for a lot of folks at home are looking at this going like, that's too big to be a hamburger roll, and that's too circular to be kind of like a baguette. So what is it?
So this is a Telera. This is a traditional bun that's used for tortas primarily. It's got some French influence, so it's a very straightforward dough. You'll recognize it like if you were eating a baguette, but it hasn't been, there's no steam added to it when it's cooked, so it doesn't get real crunchy or crusty. So this version is a more soft and pliable one. There is another version that looks more like a baguette that's real crusty.
Okay.
I thought for this particular sandwich that we want to do, we want one that's have a little more soft chew to it.
And that's going to be soft chew, but that's also going to absorb a lot more of
Right, all the things we're going to load it up and everything that my father's sandwich did not have.
Okay. We're making up for lost time, is what you're saying.
A lot of trauma. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to just toast these up over here.
Yeah, we're going to split them.
Now, these hard to find?
Any Mexican grocery will have them, and you can find very similar ones at some of the grocery chains around town. They won't be quite as big, but they'll be close. And you can substitute a hamburger bun if you like, or even a hoagie roll would work just fine.
So I'm just going to do a little bit of butter on both sides.
Perfect.
All right.
Excellent. So we got a pan on medium heat.
Okay. And we're just looking to get these nice and golden brown?
Just a little bit of color on them. Don't want to go too dark, like my dad would do toast.
Okay.
Burnt.
So burnt toast.
Yeah.
He's kind of like my dad on that one. We don't like the burnt toast, so we're going to keep an eye on these because when we come back after the break, we're going to see how all this layers up to make a champion chopped cheese ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs, where we're making a super simple but still super sandwich. A chopped cheese torta thanks to James Shields from food truck Johnny Nevada's. A dinner his dad used to make for him that he's now reinvented to be a little bit more edible. Before the break, we made some guac really quick from scratch, mashing fresh avocado with jalapeno, diced red onion, cilantro, lime juice, salt and pepper, then halved and toasted the bread that we're using, which is Mexican Telera bread. Nicely done over there, golden brown, which is going to be kind of coming together with what's the chopped meat part of this also. What's next for me to help you here?
Yeah, so we're going to go straight in with our, this is Chihuahua cheese. You can use white American cheese. You can use any cheese you like. I prefer this one. It's got a good creamy melt to it. You're going to get real generous in there. You want to do this over medium heat, not too high.
Okay. Is this a good amount of cheese, more or less?
Yeah, you can do some more if you
more?
want.
All right.
There you go. And start mixing that thing around. We're just going to want it just melted, and it's going to pull all that together.
And so this is really where this whole chopped cheese kind of comes into play here. You got the chopped meat, it's loose, and now this cheese kind of melts together with it. Because like you think sandwich, you think slices.
Right. This will help, like you said, hold it all together. A far cry from what I was used to as a kid.
Because the cheese becomes the glue.
Correct. Once you get it to this stage here, you can you just let it be. We're going to pull it off the heat. It's going to be, by the time we get ready to put it on our sandwich, it's going to be the right heat.
It's going to be that right heat? Okay.
Perfect.
What's the order of assembly over here with the sandwich?
This is where you can kind of play and do as much or little as you like. We brought some of our favorites, the guacamole we made. We have some refried beans that we've done ahead of time. You can buy store-bought. You can do them yourself, whatever's easiest.
Okay.
Another childhood memory of mine. Some shredded lettuce, just straight iceberg. Don't get fancy with it.
Just get just that crunch. You just want the crunch factor there.
Yep. We've got a little chipotle mayo. Some of our house pickles, pickled jalapenos, pickled red onions. We have some cilantro, some jalapenos if you want a little spicier. Some fresh tomato.
You got it all over here.
You got it all.
All right, now let's see how it all comes together.
So I'm going to start with the refried beans on the bottom.
Okay, so that's the base.
It's going to be the base.
That we're building from here because we've got the Telera bread, a little bit of that butter to give it a nice little crunchiness behind it. We go refried beans.
I'm gonna go tomatoes on the bottom.
Okay, so tomatoes now are gonna be just like smushed in with that refried bean. Because that's the hard part with a tomato. Sometimes it slides out, but the refried beans now, it's got some grip.
I don't want them to shoot out the side.
Okay.
So then we're gonna go in with the meat. Go generous amount.
And because that cheese now is melted, kind of coming together and just gluing itself,
it's gonna hold everything there.
it's gonna hold. All right.
We're gonna go in a little bit of cheese, or a little bit of shredded lettuce.
See, and now the lettuce is gonna find its own little nooks to kind of like latch onto.
Correct.
The jalapenos just sit on top. Oh, see, I love sandwiches. Like, I'm a sandwich guy. So the order is like really important here.
So the pickles go on there. A little bit of the mayo I'm gonna put on the top bun.
Okay, so that way then when you're going top down, you get a little bit of this juxtaposition here.
Correct.
Okay. I like I see what he's doing over here.
A little extra cilantro didn't hurt anybody.
Oh, it's the freshness over there.
And then a couple good scoops of our avocado.
Just
our
for
guac.
added measure over there.
It's gonna be a handful.
Oh, look at that.
So then we're gonna top this guy.
We're gonna top that over here.
And then we're gonna give it a cut.
I'll pass this back over on your side over here. As we have our pinto beans right there. Now we got our sandwich just being topped.
And that is a far cry from what I ever had as a child.
Grab James Shields' dad's reinvented chopped cheese recipe at our website, dinnerdeeas.com, where we also have a link to find his food truck, Johnny Nevada's. See you next time with another idea for dinner, as we call them, Dinner Diaz.